Today in this video I will be showcasing a game I played on the chess Roblox game. I'm playing against my opponent. My opponent is white. I am playing the black pieces. The first move is e4, a very popular move. I respond with knight e6, attacking the pawn. He does bishop c4, attacking my pawn, which is covered by the king. However, if he took, I would have to be forced to take with the king, losing my right to castle. I respond with a6, being that my pawn is defended, and if takes. He develops his pawn. He moves his pawn to e5. I respond with knight g4, keeping the pressure on said pawn. Queen takes on g4, capturing my knight. I move my pawn to d5. He moves his bishop to d5. I move my pawn to c6. He does queen h4. I take his bishop with the pawn, doubling the pawns. However, there is no lead yet. He does knight e2. I take advantage, so I have, because if I get a rook or queen over here, I'm pinning this knight to the king. So I'm gonna put pressure on the pawn. He does knight d4, attacking my knight. However, I just take the knight because of priorities. This is a 1-point value, as this is to 3. He does knight c3. I give a check with the knight on c2, forking these two pieces, the rook and the king, forcing the king to move one of these directions, and then I could get the free rook because nothing's covering it. So he goes king e2. I take on a1, thus taking the rook. He moves to knight b3 or knight b1. I move my pawn to f6. He moves his king back to f1. I take the pawn on the e file. He does knight c3. Interesting move. He's now attacking both of my pawns. I move h6. He does knight d5, taking my pawn. I move g-pawn. I move the g-pawn up to g5, attacking the queen. The queen goes to g4, or e4, sorry. I bring my bishop to g7, covering. He then does the stupidest move. Queen takes on e5, blundering his queen, and I am not hesitant to take that move. He does knight e3. I castle to get the rook on an open file, and then thus pinning a pawn to the king. He does knight d5. I go bishop b7, attacking his knight. He gives a check. I just take with the rook on rook f6. Moves his pawn down to a3. I do queen a5. He moves his pawn down, which is a horrible move, because do you see a checkmate here? If takes, and then if he doesn't block, I don't think he can block, so it's pretty much a forced. Because it takes, and then you can't really block because this is covered and these two pawns are blocking. And this rook is, well, the only move the rook can make is there, or else just don't move it. Or the pawns can move, but the only thing you could really do is stall for time. So I take on a4. I take the pawn. He does g3, which he blunders mate, and then I move to queen d1, which is checkmate.